Hey guys, what's up? Synthwave here. Hope you guys are having a happy Monday today. I'm just taking a quick break from work here myself because it's Monday and I don't feel like working. So, I'm doing what every, or any responsible, work from home dad would do. I have my 3-year-old son downstairs watching Rescue Bots and eating sour cream and onion potato chips and pepperoni. And I'm up here in my office shooting a quick video here, so hopefully I can keep him plied with snacks and food long enough to where I can finish this and then get back to work. But anyways, yeah, I hope you guys had a great weekend. And actually, speaking of the weekend, this was kind of the whole purpose why I wanted to shoot this video. Some pretty big news dropped in the Transformers universe. That, of course, is the Bumblebee trailer, the latest one that dropped over the weekend. So I thought, why not? Let's do a synthwave reaction video to the trailer. And actually, when I went to find the trailer, I actually found two clips. One is sort of like an alternate trailer, and it didn't seem to be getting a lot of circulation. I was finding a lot of one particular kind of trailer that seemed a little bit maybe more friendly to like a generic audience that maybe not initiated into the world of Transformers, and then the second sort of alternate take, which showed a little bit more footage of the Transformers themselves. It might appeal a little bit more to fans, but here's what we'll do. We'll just go ahead and play. We'll play both the clips. I'll just do both clips back to back, and then let me take some I'll just do like some snapshots. Anything in the trailers that stood out to me, I'll just do some stills. We'll throw those up and talk about anything that kind of struck my fancy watching the trailers. But yeah, so let's go ahead and do that, and then see what we got. So here we go. Here's the first trailer, and then yeah, I'll just play them both back to back.
I'm Charlie Watson. I'm 18. Today, actually. Is the Beetle for sale?
It's yours, kid. Happy birthday.
Oh my God. What are you?
So you have no idea where he came from?
No idea.
Well,
Here's the deal. People can be terrible about things they don't understand. From now on, the only person you can show yourself around is me. Oh, I'm good. No, I'm good, thanks.
There's a war raging on our planet. If this criminal isn't found, that war may find its way here.
Is there anyone that can help you? Do you have a family? Oh, who but me?
They're calling an army.
I've seen firsthand, these things really are.
Bumblebee, there is only one way to end this war. You must protect Earth and its people.
Take it down!
My back, me! This is how we stop them. You've got me. And I'm not going anywhere. God, I'm so screwed.
Here's Optimus Prime!
I want the Beetle. I'll work here every day for a year.
It's yours, kid.
Do you speak? You sound like a little bumblebee. Only person you can show yourself around is me. So let's say we're driving and all of a sudden, somebody's there, hide! You serious? Let me see if I can fix it.
I pray this message finds you. Our war rages on.
The voice mentioned a war. You hiding from something?
The criminal from our world is hiding on yours. If our common enemy isn't found,
We'll burn the whole planet to cinders.
Take it down!
My back, Bee!
B-127. You must protect Earth and its people.
Thank you.
Run! Do not run! She ran.
Bumblebee, what have you done? I am so screwed.
So there you go. Yeah, that was both of the clips. What did you guys think? I mean, I think I after 10 years of dealing with the Bayverse of Michael Bay's dumpster fire. They're not that bad. They're not dumpster fires. Okay, maybe they are. I don't know. I didn't really care for them, but we'll get into that a little bit later too, as to why I think Transformers is so difficult to adapt to the big screen. But we'll get to that later. But I liked these trailers. I liked both of the cuts. I mean, some of them had the same footage in it, obviously, but I liked what I saw. I liked there was a definite sort of blend or amalgamation of the two different styles of Michael Bay's cinematic style of his interpretation of the Transformers, and then there's definitely a Generations kind of flavor that they sort of overlaid on top of Michael Bay's interpretation of it, and it comes off pretty well. I think it's a good starting point, because what that does is it gives the two camps that kind of seem to be divided of those who want a more Generations based flavor, and which by the way, I think I could be wrong about this. This could be a huge generalization on my part, but it just seems to me that the Western hemisphere of the world tends to identify more with the Generations iteration of Transformers, while the Eastern hemisphere, the more Asian influenced regions, they tend to like the Bayverse bots. At least that tends to be like, just from what I've seen on players in the forum commenting on which bots they want to see added to Forge to Fight. A lot of the Asian players really tend to like those Bayverse ones, and it seems like the Western Hemisphere people tend to prefer the Generations guys. But anyways, that's for a different discussion. But all that to say, I like this sort of blend that they have, right down to it even sounded like they had, like, sound effects wise, they had incorporated a more Michael Bay kind of transforming sound. But I also heard in a couple of the clips, I heard that good, you know, the throwback Generations cartoon transformation sound effects. So that was great to hear that thrown in there as well. It seems like I said, this is a good jumping off point to kind of a soft reboot, you know, to bring things around to where I think more of the fan base will be happy and pleased with the directions Transformers is going in. So that was kind of my initial reaction. Was I'm initially pretty positive about this. Some things I wasn't really sure about that I noticed right off the bat. The movie takes place in San Francisco in 1987. So about 20 years ago. And it didn't really feel like the 80s to me. I mean, you had, some hairstyles, like the main character, the girl, her hairstyle is kind of 80s looking, and her friend with his little 80s afro. There were little callbacks to the 80s, but, then you see like John Cena. John Cena, I mean, just looks like he's perpetually trapped in the year 2005. He doesn't look like you could put, a powdered wig on him and an 18th century aristocratic outfit on him, and he'd still look like he was at a Halloween party in 2005. There's not a lot you can do to make John Cena, translate into other eras. Even just, I don't know, looking at the background at his team, his special forces team in the background that I guess is tasked with finding Bumblebee. It just looks like more of a contemporary special forces team. It looks like something from 2018 or something. It just doesn't really strike me as this is 1987. You'd expect to find more like the guys wearing the traditional 80s BDUs, camouflage. This just seemed to me to be a little too contemporary. And also the other thing that I kind of noticed too was in this next shot, you can see a Humvee, shooting at Bumblebee in the forest as he's trying to escape or elude them. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I just don't remember the first time I can remember Humvees or Hummers coming into the sort of public mainstream consciousness was Desert Storm, which was 1990, 91. I just don't ever remember seeing a Humvee in the 80s at all. Basically, the rule of thumb that you could go by, I guess, is if it's not like a G.I. Joe toy from the 80s, then you probably shouldn't put it in the film. Because I just don't remember there ever being a Humvee G.I. Joe toy. I could be wrong. But one thing they did get right, the next shot here, you can see a Super Cobra helicopter, and then in the foreground there, and then in the background, in the distance, you can see a Harrier jump jet, and both of those are very sort of iconic, 80s military craft. So that was good to see. And these are, of course, these two, the triple changers. What are their names? Shatter and Dropkick, I think. I don't think they may be new creations. I don't ever remember hearing about a Shatter or a Dropkick. So someone in the comments wants to let me know if they are in the actual Transformers universe, then great, let me know. I'd love to know that. Otherwise, I think I'm just going to say these guys are new. So it's cool. I like the idea that they put triple changers in there. That's kind of a cool feature. And again, I like the aesthetic. It's a nice blend of old meets new. But I think the real kind of moment of the film. Oh yeah, what's with the tunnels? Do you remember I don't know if this is just sort of like a nod to the Bayverse movies, but they always seem to want to put Bumblebee in a tunnel of some kind. I always think that's interesting. But anyways, yeah, the kind of the shot that I saw that I'm like, wow, this could be really good. This could be a step in the right direction. Was of course this one. When I saw that, I was like, that is Shockwave. That's exactly what Shockwave, like a cinematic translation of Shockwave. That's exactly what he would look like. You know, the other ones you can't see quite as clearly, but off to his left you can see Starscream, and then I'm guessing, it's hard to tell based on the coloring, that off to Starscream's left could be Thundercracker or Skywarp. I can't tell which. And then it looks like you've got a Conehead in the back behind Starscream, and so I'm not sure who that's supposed to be. He's green. What was that one Seeker's name? Acid Storm, Acid Fire, Acid Rain, Acid something. He was only in like one episode or something, but I think he's in the IDW comics here and there too. But he was never like a Conehead configuration. He was always a Seeker, like, you know, he looked basically a copy of Starscream. So he looks a little different, but it's just cool. It's cool to see those sort of Generations concepts making it into the film. That was really encouraging to see. Another shot that had me kind of excited was seeing this scene of them flying through Cybertron, and you can see these are the original Generations alt modes of the Seekers, and that was really cool to see as well. What else? Yeah, I can remember when seeing this shot like a couple months ago, like earlier in the year, over the summer when this first dropped. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's Starscream! Starscream looks awesome!" And the director's like, "No, that's Blitzwing." And that's when some people started getting worried. They're like, "Oh no, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know what he's doing." But it is Blitzwing. He is actually, as you'll see, let me see if I can find the other image. You can see right here, he is an F4 Phantom. Starscream, at least if they're holding true to, you know, the Generations, he was an F-15 Eagle, and here we have Blitzwing as a Phantom, but it is Blitzwing. So I think they just colored him to look similar to Starscream in some ways, which kind of threw a lot of people off earlier in the year. But you know, he looks pretty cool. And then of course here is our Optimus Prime looking like Optimus Prime. And then what was the other one? Oh yeah, here, Soundwave. Look at that. I like that it is clearly, you know, there's no mistaking who that is. That Soundwave. He does have a little bit of a almost video game-ish sort of look to him, like a really polished, you know, video game. But I'm okay with that. You know, just so that, as like I said earlier, as long as there's a touchstone, there's something to make fans go, okay, I'm still okay with this. You've tweaked it a little bit, but he's still Soundwave. He still looks cool. I think that was just the problem with the Michael Bay, you know, one of many problems with the Michael Bay movies, but he just made them look so different from what everyone remembered these characters as, you know. And here's another one of, you know, Ravage, you know, and that was the where I heard the, you know, the original sound effect, the transformation sound effect. When I heard that, I was like, wow, this is great. We've got Transformers back. Another shot of Cybertron looking a little kind of Coruscant-y from Star Wars, but you know, it's still enough of an interpretation where this looks interesting to me. I like the take on this. And then, of course, here's another shot of Optimus Prime taking on Ravage, and there was one more, I think, right here. Yeah, that just looks cool. That just looks great. I like all the attention to detail they have with the sparks. You know, there's, you know, sparks when the bots hit each other, when they shoot their rifles. You know, they're just good attention to detail. And then of course you can see in the background here we have what looks like Shockwave. You can see the silhouettes of two Seekers on either side. Yeah, just a lot of good stuff. You know, here's a good shot of B taking on Blitzwing, which looked like it was, I guess, towards the beginning of the movie. Another good shot, but yeah, it just I felt pretty good about this. I mean, like I said, my hopes weren't really that high anyways after dealing with Michael Bay's movie, so this is a good starting point. I'm happy with the way things are going. It even, there was, some silly Billy type humor and stuff they put in, like here, Bumblebee in her house, and the scenes with him on the beach, trying to learn how to live truly as a robot in disguise. There were some of those more humorous moments meant to sort of draw in the uninitiated into the Transformers world, and I'm fine with that. I think that's a good addition. Even having the human lead, being a young girl. I think that was a smart move on the studio's part to try to get include everyone get everyone interested in seeing this movie. I think was a good move. So that was my take on the trailer. Now I did want to touch on, I mentioned earlier about why I think these films can be so difficult or why Transformers as a brand, as a franchise, can be so difficult to bring to the big screen. It's really hard to adapt. And my theory on that, basically, it comes down to it's really hard to keep an audience engaged with a movie like this, with the current format that the franchise uses. And that format being basically the inclusion of humans, bringing humans into this, complicates this whole franchise. It started out, with the Transformers, showing up on Earth, and that's what the cartoon and the toy line was all about, was robots in disguise living on Earth. And then, as it developed over the years, the comic books got a hold of these characters and gave them depth, gave them complexity, richness, personality, that the cartoons just really, they'd touch on it here and there. They'd kind of glean over it a little bit, but you still had a basic idea of what some of these characters were about. But the comic books were that's where they really fleshed out these characters, and that really created a new fan base, that wanted to see these characters on the screen, these complex characters. They're not just these cool robots that turn into vehicles and are fighting a war with each other that the humans are having to witness. I mean, there was a lot more to them than that. And so I think that's part of the reason why it's been so difficult to find a fan base that is really going to resonate with what they see on the big screen. Because I just feel like if you just had Transformers, this just Cybertronians in the movie and no humans at all, you'd have a more successful franchise. Because once the audience realizes that there aren't any humans in a film, their minds will automatically begin to assign human characteristics to the characters they see on the screen. In this case, the Cybertronians. They'll invest in the believability of the characters because that is just what humans do. We try to see ourselves in other things, other beings. It's one aspect that makes the whole idea of science fiction, speculative fiction, so great. We see ourselves in things that would otherwise seem strange or alien to us, so we can better understand that thing, or so we can even see our own selves in a different way to understand our own selves. But of course, obviously, the biggest problem that stands out with that is that showing us a 90-minute movie of just Transformers would make the film just way too expensive. It's just cost prohibitive. So you have to limit the screen time of the Transformers, of the Cybertronians, and this in turn forces a studio to put more economical, real-life actors into the film. So while it I think it makes it certainly cheaper to do and more accessible. Doing that, though, it changes the whole tone of the film. It means that no longer can we fully invest and project our own humanity onto these other beings, because there's other humans in the film that demand our humanity, our attention, our sympathies, simply because they are human and are instantly relatable as humans. So yeah, having this human element, I think, in the film competing for our sympathies, it really reduces these deeply complex Cybertronian characters that we read about in places like the IDW comics, and it reduces them more into like these sort of one-dimensional warring aliens, who change themselves into other things, and sure, the studio, does what they can, and they do a great job with making them look cool and doing cool things, but we really miss out on what can make a film like this truly great, and that's interesting characterization. With human characters vying for our attention, we don't get to see the full sort of rich complexity of a Megatron, a Starscream, or an Optimus Prime, the way we get to see them sort of portrayed in the comics as having these motivations and that can be really relatable. Megatron's not just evil for the sake of being evil in the comics. He has a motivation for doing what he does and why he does it, and it's almost altruistic. Megatron is who he is because of corruption. He couldn't stand the way he saw, people being treated, and he was going to do something about it, and he just carried it more than a little too far. Starscream is the same way. Optimus Prime, all those characters, there's a richness to them that we get to see in the comics that we just don't see on the big screen. We get these, instead these sort of undeveloped characters, for the humans in the film to sort of react to. And then the result is that we all, nobody wins. There's no characters, human or Cybertronian, that ever get fully fleshed out, fully realized to where the audience really fully cares about them or is invested in them. So yeah, I don't know. That's my take on it. Until we can get a Transformers movie that only has Transformers in it, and maybe introduces the humans in the end as an alien species, I don't think we'll really see what the franchise is capable of in a cinematic sense, in a cinematic space. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is a good take. This is a good start for what it is, with the restrictions we have budget wise. I think this is a good place to go. Bumblebee has always been the sort of bridge between humans and Cybertronians in the Transformers world. He's just kind of that character that can do that. So we'll see where it goes. But overall, my impressions of this were positive. So anyway, that's my I would say that's my brief take on it, but it's not really brief. But yeah, definitely let me know in the comments below, what you thought about the trailer. And if you resonate with what I'm saying, or if you have a different take on it, even why you think it's so hard to adapt Transformers to the big screen, I'd love to hear it and love to talk about it. But in the meantime, the final piece of news, what was it? The next video. I had originally, the next video was going to be this video until I saw the trailer, and then I was like, I got to do a video on this. But the next one I got is going to be a request from a subscriber, 2 subscribers actually, who want to get kind of a peek, a look inside my account, a kind of a tour of my account, as it were. It just sounds like they're curious to see what a typical account looks like from someone who is a part of a top alliance. So yeah, we'll do that in the next video. We'll take a look at that, specifically like what a top alliance player, what their inventory might look like, from like their sparks to the ore they have, items, relics, things like that. I can take a look at base defense, show you what I put on my base and what seems to be working. And finally, we can look at my bot roster, what some of the bots are that I like using, which ones I've invested more heavily in as far as ranking them, or signature programs that I've dumped into them. So yeah, we'll go into all that. We'll do that in the next video. So yeah, so if you like the content I'm putting out, please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel, hit the bell to receive notifications for when more videos come out. That doing all that stuff will definitely help the channel out and start giving it a little bit more visibility on the interweb. So again, thanks guys. Hope you enjoyed my take on the Bumblebee trailer. Hopefully if we get another trailer, we can maybe do another video on that as well. But anyways, I got to get back downstairs. I got to see what kind of trouble my 3-year-old has gotten himself into. Rescue bots will only hold his attention for so long. So yeah, have a great day, guys. This is Synthwave signing off.
Bumblebee, what have you done? I am so screwed.